What was I gonna say? I'm gonna open up the chat. So I'm gonna open it up here on my PC so I can interact in the chat while we doing this. And
No doubt,
you
no
know,
doubt. Well, we here, we here. Welcome back, Knicks and Bruises, episode 18. I got my guest today, Eddie C, in the building, aka the Zombie Knicks fan. What's going on, Eddie? How you doing?
I'm doing good, bro. I'm doing good, man. How's you, man? The basketball zombie. Um,
Basketball Zombie.
yeah, we here to spice things up, talk Knicks and bruises. Um, old school Knicks, how I got into the Knicks and what have you. And I'm glad to be here. Thanks for having me, Tony.
Thank you for coming on. I appreciate it. I try to get a new guest, as often as I can. So I appreciate you jumping on. Just a quick tutorial on what this is. This is the episodes. This is not the regular podcast. So the episodes, I try to get my guests to us Knicks fans, we endured a lot of pain over the years. A lot of what I call Knicks and bruises, that we had to deal with a bad team. Things are turning around now, but I like to go back and get some of our worst experiences, some of our little nicks that bothered us over the years, and then we'll end it off. Talk about the current team, the current roster. We'll talk a little bit about free agency, maybe what you're expecting in free agency and what you're expecting moving forward. Well,
Hmm.
with all things said, the floor is yours. You can start however you like. You can start with Knicks. You can start with Bruises. You can mix them up. But the floor is yours. Your blackest time.
Um, all right, man. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, man. I'm gonna start. I'm gonna start back in the day. I'm gonna start when I was a child. Um, New York City, 109th Street from Manhattan, between Broadway and Riverside. That's where I grew up. Um, I grew up with a Puerto Rican father and a Costa Rican mother. I live in Costa Rica now, as a lot of people know. But I grew up in a middle class, family. Just a regular kid, just learning and doing his thing. Just a regular New York City boy. Um, and I really have to say that my Knicks fandom began with my brother. My older brother was a big Knicks fan. Um, and he before I started getting into sports, he was the one that told me how to. He taught me. Did you get? Are you getting any feedback here? I hear something in the background.
Yeah, it's a little feedback.
I don't know why that sounded weird, but anyway, um, he was the one that got me into basketball. Right, he got me into watching the New York Knicks. I got me into the NBA. How you know we hated Michael Jordan. He got me on that train on the MJ dislike. So, but oddly enough, the first NBA game that I remember watching was the Philadelphia 76ers against the Chicago Bulls. That was the first game that I ever remember watching and really tried to understand what NBA was, what basketball was. Um, and I loved it, man. Like I ended up falling in love with it. Uh, as the time went by, I became a New York Knicks fan. Like a lot of New York City boys, became a New York Knicks fan, and there started my journey, my New York Knicks journey. Um, in all the pain that everybody talks about, and what we all go through as New York Knicks fans. Um, so um, I believe I started when the New York Knicks were in the playoffs and we were starting to play against teams like Indiana Pacers, against Reggie Miller and those guys, Mark Jackson and those guys. It was just tough. It was tough because we always did great in the regular season. We were always a tough team. I started off with the team with the Ewing, Oakley, Anthony Mason, John Starks. Derek Harper, I believe it was the starter at that time. Those were my Knicks. Those are the ones that I started off watching, and those were the Knicks that I fell in love with, you know. But as we all know, it was Knicks and Bruises, man. Knicks and Bruises the whole time. Like we were playing awesome in the regular season, but when it came to the playoffs, you know, just like today, it was a dud. You know, we always came up short. We always came up short. So those 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 Indiana Pacers games, I believe, was the ones that really broke my heart, but at the same time made me more loyal to the New York Knicks because I'm a loyal man. Like I would never jump ship. I would never. That's not my style. You know, that's never been my style. You know, I'm loyal to the end. So those heartbreaks is was gives me more fervor to go forward with this team and see the promised land and you know just wait for that championship. When that championship, hopefully it comes in my lifetime. But when that championship comes, it's gonna be a beautiful day. It's gonna taste so beautiful because of all these things that we have endured. You know, you, me, everybody in the Knicks universe has endured, man. So, um, I remember when I was a kid crying because the Knicks lost. I'm the son of a superintendent of a building, so we used to live in the basement, and in the basement I had pipes all over my room, right? And I used to dunk on those pipes like when you used to dunk, I used to dunk. Um, you know, during the games, I would get so amped up that I would just go and fake finger roll, fake balls, pass the pipes. You know, just do crazy little kid things. You know, and all of that was fun for me, man. All of that, you know, was the beginnings and how it grew, how the hunger grew in me as a New York Knicks fan. Um, watching my brother, you know, curse him out all the time because my brother's around 10 years older than me, right? So I'm a young kid, and you know, he's an adult, and you know how sometimes we talk, you know, we talk the way we talk, man. We curse a lot and stuff like that. So I remember him cursing, and I'm a kid, and he's just cursing him out, man, like blah, this, that, and the third, you know, and I'm feeding off that energy. I'm feeding off that energy. Salute to you guys. Thanks you for tuning in. Legion, what's going on, my bro? Man, what's going on, Uncle Ron? We here. We talking Knicks and Bruises, baby. Thanks for tuning in. Um, so like I said, you know, my brother's the one that put that urge in me, that fight in me, that New York Knicks grit in me. You know, seeing him even to this day, the way my hat is cocked to the side, like he always wanted to for me to be cool. You know, and me as a younger sibling, you know, probably I didn't know how to at the time. So I remember I used to rock my hat straight.
He
I
come in
used
and
to
adjust it for you.
right. I would rock my hat straight, and I would go play at the I used to call PAL in like the backyards and stuff. They have like little yards.
I'm from the city, so I know.
So I used to go play, and I used to have my hat straight, and he would stop me on the block, like if he was coming home or whatever, and he's like, "Yo, what you doing, little bro?" And I'm like, "Nah, I'm gonna go play." He goes, "Man, you looking all dorky out here, yo, with your hat like that, man. You gotta do something different. You gotta cock it to the." So, you know, he's the one that always was like a real father figure for me in basketball, in life, in a lot of things. You know, he is the person that made me who I am to this day, and I'm forever grateful. We have a great relationship now, me and my brother. Like, you know, he's somebody that's really dear to me.
I got a
Um,
question. He never jumped ship either, huh?
oh no,
Okay.
oh no,
And
no, no.
and I did want to make a comment about your basement and you doing the finger rolls, man. You can't be doing no finger rolls, man. Patrick shouldn't have done the finger roll.
It was the Patrick Ewing finger roll.
Nah, man. Pat was
You know
supposed
what
to
I'm
bang
saying?
those.
I know you're supposed to bang them, but I used to do little finger rolls. I used to do dunks. I used to take the papers and just shoot them through the pipe. There was no rim; it was just a pipe. And I used to have fun like that. That's how I used to. That's how I used to. Get my energy off. You know what I'm saying? Watching the games when I was so young that I didn't know how to hold my emotions in. You know what I'm saying? I didn't know what to do to hold these emotions that I was feeling now as an adult, because even as an adult, we scream at the TV, no, but we're adults. But me, I'm an 11-year-old kid and I don't even know how to hold this in. And that's how I would take out my disgust or my happiness. Like I said, I used to cry, anything that I could to let my emotions out.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I would do. And that's why it's with me to this day. I'm going on 40 years old. And when I watch the Knicks, I still feel like a little kid. When I get on these podcasts, it's so therapeutic. And I feel like I'm back home, 1989, 1990, watching the Knicks play, man, and going through those emotions, man.
That's what's up, man.
Yeah, man.
That love never goes away, and that nostalgia, is one of the best feelings in the world. Even some of the bad ones, you know what I mean. When you reflect on them, it's like you can feel it in your veins and going through your body. So I feel you.
We still go through it to this day. When the Knicks, when the Knicks are about to go into the playoff game, when the Knicks do something, when you hear the news about the Knicks, when they don't do something, like we go through those emotions every single day. And it's like sometimes what drives us, because sports is it heals, man. It heals. There's a lot of people that go through different circumstances, different things during their life. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes just sitting down waiting for 7:30 to come around to watch the Knicks game is probably the most peaceful time that they have, man. So salute to you, Cully. So, that's what it's all about, man. That's what it's all about, just for the love for the Knicks, man, and just being there every year for them, no matter what they do, and just keep rolling with them until we get that chip. We ain't gonna be satisfied until we get that chip, baby.
That's a fact. That's a whole fact. So what was some of your big bruises over the years? What were the ones that hurt you the most personally?
Definitely losing to the Indiana Pacers. That series where Reggie Miller scored those points. Because we heard it all as Knicks fans, At that time, you was in New York City, and there was a lot of Chicago Bulls fans. There was a lot of Michael Jordan fans, and New York Knicks always, was getting dogged, man. We always things that shouldn't happen always happen to us. You know what I'm saying? So I definitely one of those bruises was like losing to Indiana Pacers, the way we lost to them, Patrick Ewing finger rolling, Reggie Miller shooting those 3-pointers, doing the to Spike
Starts.
Lee, man. And ever since I could remember, it's always been the negative. You know what I'm saying? It's always been like we always been kicked. You know what I'm saying? And beat up because of the things that end up playing out in these games. So definitely, Indiana Pacers. I could say after that, after those golden years of, the '90s Knicks, going through that really bad spell of management was just horrible to see, man, to be part of a team who had no answers for what was going on. It's very hard to stay, as a fan when the team is not helping you out. You know what I'm saying? The team is not helping you out, man, and they're just doing, certain things here and there, and there it kind of felt like it was being run in a different manner than professionally. It kind of felt like it was being run on another level that wasn't, the way it should be when we look around all of these other organizations and how they ran things, and we were just like, oh, we'll just do it our way and not not do it the right way. All these allegations, all these things that come out, and give us a black eye to what's going on with the Knicks, and stuff like that. And I gotta say, the last thing now here, I gotta say the mismanagement of Porzingis. The mismanagement of because it was a long time before we drafted a player who looked like he was gonna be really good. You know what I'm saying? And we weren't able to nurture that. We wasn't able to help relieve some of the things that he could have been going on with his body. We weren't smart about how we looked at Porzingis, and at the end of the day, we ended up having to trade him. And again, the organization took a step back. Yeah. So I think those are the three things that stand out the most within my tenure. Having those good years, but always coming up short in the playoffs to whoever team it was, Houston, San Antonio, Indiana, that whole time right there where we just couldn't get over the hump in the NBA. Going through the bad management time where, it looks like we couldn't do any smart moves. There was just no brains in the offices. There was, people just did whatever they wanted to do, and last, the management, the Phil Jackson kind of era where, we had somebody who could have been a cornerstone of our franchise, and we mismanaged it, be it that we didn't take care of him physically, be it that he wasn't, a lot of people say his brother and stuff, but if you have a strong organization, you can override things like that and say, look, listen, this is how we're going to do. But even in that, our organization wasn't strong enough to hold that type of personality or what have you. So we basically had to let him go and take a step back. And now finally we're on a rebound and we're getting better.
Thank God. I definitely agree with the first one. I mean, let me just give my perspective, because like the golden era, as you phrased it, was tough for me because we never got over the hump. We was always one of the top teams in the East, at least sometimes in the league, but it was always Jordan. I never got a chance to appreciate Jordan as a athlete or a basketball player or anything. Like, I really hated him, so I hated him so much. I couldn't appreciate
I have a quick story about Jordan when you finish. Go ahead.
All right. But yeah, I didn't get a chance to appreciate him until, maybe his last couple of years and when he was out the league, I could reflect a little bit. But I never got a chance to appreciate him while he played. And funny thing is, I think that's why I give LeBron so much credit and props to this day, is because I said I'm not going to do that again. I'm not going to ignore greatness because I don't like what he's doing to my team. Go ahead and tell your story, and then I'll comment on your other two bruises.
So as you can see, part of my Knicks fandom, a big part of my Knicks fandom is my big brother. He lives in New York still. You know, he's waiting to get retired so he can come over and kick it with me here in Costa Rica, and you know the band will be back together. But now, you know, he's over there, I'm over here. He's a huge part of my Knicks fandom. So one of these, he works in he's a porter in Jersey, right? And he was a big, I think PJ Brown used to live in his building back in the day. Rex Chapman used to live in his building. A lot of New Jersey Nets used to live in his building. Ed Lover from Ed Lover and Dr. Dre used to live in his building. So he had, you know, there was some celebrities kind of that he knew. I remember him bringing home a big sneaker, size, I think it was like size 16, 17. It was a PJ Brown signed Converse sneaker.
Wow.
Nice color. It was white and teal. Beautiful sneaker. And he's like, yo, check it out. PJ Brown gave this to me, man. And, you know, stuff like that, right? So he comes up to me one day, and he used to every so often take me to Knicks games, like once a year, or once every 2 years. We used to go to a Knicks game when he used to have tickets. Somebody used to give him tickets, right? So they gave him a ticket to go see the Chicago Bulls, right? So we go see the Chicago Bulls, and this is at the height of the Chicago Bulls, probably like a couple of years before Jordan retired the first time. You know, there was a monster team. It wasn't the Dennis Rodman team, but it was the Horace Grant team. So they were a phenomenal team. You know, we basically never beat them when they came to the Garden or whatever. Jordan always used to pound us into submission. Phil Jackson was coaching. You know, MJ always had about 40 points when he played us and just dogged us all the time. So me and my brother are at the game, right? And my brother, like I said, my brother hated Jordan, man. He hated Jordan so much. And so I think John Starks gets the ball out of bounds, right? He's dribbling up the court. He's gonna give like a cross court pass to Anthony Mason. Anthony Mason was our point forward at that time, right? So he was gonna give like a cross court pass to Anthony Mason, and Michael Jordan reads it and gets in the passing lane, steals the ball like at half court, right? He's a little bit behind half court. So, you know, I'm saying the story is slow, but it's bang bang. You know, it's a bang bang play. So, boom, Starks passes the ball. Jordan steals the ball, intercepts the pass, steals the ball, right? He's grabbing it, he's dribbling, and he looks behind him to see where John Starks is at, right? Mm-hmm. You see Starks basically gave up on the play as soon as he saw he got the ball stolen.
I know the exact play you're talking about. What? Go ahead. He
sticks out his tongue. Mm-hmm. He starts to stick out his tongue, looking backwards, and he goes up for the dunk, and back rims, it clanks the dunk. It goes all the way out, right? So he misses the dunk, and at that time, ain't nobody seen Jordan miss a dunk. You know, those types of things, I'm pretty sure it happened to him once or twice, but you don't see that happen to Jordan ever, right? So he clanks the dunk, and my brother gets up so happy because he misses the dunk. He goes up, yes, and he faints on me, bro. My brother, he faints on me because it's so crazy that this will happen. He goes up and he faints on me, and I'm like 11, 12 years old, and I see my brother faint on the floor, and I'm like, Roy, and I slap him a little bit, and he wakes up quickly, and he gets up again, and goes, yes, yes, like those are the types of things that, like, the emotion is so high where you just like so happy to see something like that happen to Michael Jordan that you're never gonna see again in your lifetime. So I was like, I couldn't at that moment. I didn't know what it was. You know what I'm saying? I still didn't understand what it was, what the hate was, what the win. I didn't understand what wins were. I didn't understand nothing about basketball. I was just learning b-ball and you know, just watching him go get up, faint, come back up, and all in the same emotion all over again. It's like, yo, this is something like this is real. Like, yo,
That was a
people despise this man because he hurts us so much. You know what I'm saying? We hurt every year by this same man that we can't get over it. Soon as something bad happens to him, we go crazy. And I'm not even gonna tell you what my brother used to say to me that wish would happen to him because we would get shut down and all the stuff that my big bro used to say wanted things to happen to MJ. But
that's hilarious. You need to plug me in with your brother because I want to hear his Knicks and Bruises.
oh man, you go crazy, bro. My brother is just like me, you know, funny dude. Without the beard. But yo, he's a funny dude, man. We New Yorkers, man. We New Yorkers through and through, man. We've been there since we were all little kids, man. Since he was born, since I was born, we've been on the same block. He lives now in 113th Street, like 3 blocks away of where we used to live. You know what I'm saying? So he's never left the hood, and everybody loves my brother, man. Like, you know, I was that type of kid where when I used to go on the block and play, they used to say, yo, that's Roy's little brother, Pito. You know what I'm saying? Because everybody used to call me Pito back in the day. So I already, off association of my big bro, like everybody already knew who I was, man. It was one of them things, like, yo, that's Roy's little brother, Pito, this and that, blah blah blah. So I always used to say what's up to old people I ain't even know, but it was just because they knew that I was a little bro. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, peace and love to my big bro, Roy. I love you, big bro.
That's hilarious. He had a slingshot moment. You know how people ride that slingshot ride, they pass out and wake back up like
Exactly, like, you know, they pass out, come back to life, and they just did what the last thing that they did before they passed out. You know what I'm saying?
that's so funny.
It's crazy.
And then so I was always mad at you know, during those 90s, late 80s, 90s era Knicks, just because I expected them to win. They always had a good team. Little did I know that, you know, things could and would get worse. You know, I didn't even get to appreciate how good we were. We just didn't get over the hump because I was focused on us not getting over the hump. And then you know, that next era, that next 10, 20 years, it was rough. But even then, because I was so mad and didn't appreciate the team before, I would like, I wasn't that mad at that rough stretch because I was always the optimistic fan at this point. Oh, we're gonna win. We gonna get there. Jordan's not here no more. You know, like 99, I swore we was winning. I knew that was our championship. And then it got worse again after that. And just to touch on that Porzingis situation, I think I didn't let myself, like, I told myself he didn't want to be here. We had to get rid of him. And that was my mindset, because if I dwelled on like my real feelings as far as like who I thought he would be and what we got for him, and you know, the fact that we lost him, I probably would have, you know, it would have been some dark days for me. So I had to tell myself he didn't want to be here. We got to let him go. And one of the things I did say that I meant at the time was, especially the errors of where we were and what we've been through. Can you imagine? Because it happened so fast. We didn't even know he requested a trade. We didn't know he didn't want to be there. You know what I mean? He literally played the game before, and then the next day was traded, like overnight traded. So, but can you imagine at that time, had we known, oh, Porzingis came out and requested a trade, or Porzingis came out and said he's not going to re-sign, like the media would have had a field day. So I think it was for the best that once we realized we was going to do it, that we did it like that overnight.
Yeah,
that might be the reason why we didn't get a significant return though, because we didn't there's no way they had enough time to significantly shop them and weigh offers out. So
yeah, the whole situation was botched. Like, the only good part of that situation was the draft pick of him. You know what I'm saying? But besides that, the whole situation was botched. The way he was brought into the team as a savior instead of probably being slow, spoon fed. You know what I'm saying? He basically got the keys off the bat, and we still had Melo and everything. You know what I'm saying? So I just think that we could have handled that better. We could have saved him. You know what I'm saying? We could have saved him. We could have handled it better. Once it did go awry, you know what I'm saying? He gets injured. Then we have to spend the time on his injury without him. Before that, if we would have probably traded him before that, we probably would have gotten a better package for him, right? Because he was at the height of his. It's funny that the best game that he had was against the Indiana Pacers. I remember that game where he was like balling out against Indiana. He looked like a superstar to me, man. But that was the end of that. After that, it was it. We probably could have gotten a better package, and except for last year, and this probably is a good transition to get into now how the Knicks are now. Until last year, we were still in purgatory from that trade. You know what I'm saying? Getting these draft picks, having to sign Portis, having to sign a Julius Randle, second fiddle, losing out on Kyrie, losing out on Kevin Durant. Basically, fans trying to flock over to Brooklyn, stuff like that, man. Stuff like that hurts, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, we've been going through the struggle for 20 some odd years, for 30 some odd years, man. And then all of a sudden, Brooklyn does this, and now we're like second fiddle to the city. Nah, man, it ain't happening. You know what I'm saying? So, all that stuff hurts, man. Not being, it's kind of like the girlfriend that got passed up. You know what I'm saying, by another girl. So you feel some type of way about that, man. Like, yo, what we ain't got, you know what I'm saying? What we ain't got than what he got, you know what I'm saying? So that just adds fuel to the fire. And like I said, man, this probably is a good transition into now.
Yeah, absolutely. Real quick, I mean, and that was one thing when I started this podcast. We hadn't started winning yet. I felt like we was on our way. We were starting to win some games and play a little bit better. But it was so impactful for me that we were playing better, because I didn't want to come out and make a Knicks bashing podcast, knowing that I'm a real fan. You know what I mean? But I felt like, a lot of us, all of us, suffered over the years. So the point of the podcast was kind of like, let's let guys get all that anger and animosity and hurt out, talk about it, let it go, and start, dealing with the positive and the turnaround and building a new regime and everything else. And thankfully, thank God, we have been moving in the right direction. Things are looking better than they ever looked, because even as a kid, I didn't get to see a Knicks team built. When I started watching, the team was pretty much already assembled. The
Right.
team was, I mean, we was already out there in one of the top teams. So I got to see success early, even though it wasn't a championship.
Mm-hmm.
And then from there, it was all downhill. So
Yeah.
I'm so glad, we started turning things around. So my question would be starting with last year. What was your take of last year? We had a phenomenal year, had an all-star, all NBA player, made it to the 4th seed, first home court advantage, but first round exit. But it's about you. So what was your thoughts of last season? We'll start there.
My thoughts of last season is I really have to give all the credit to the front office and the head coach. Like, it boggles my mind when people start bashing Tom Thibodeau for certain things that he didn't do. Like, like they can be NBA coaches. You understand what I'm saying? Like they could be out there running the team, and they don't know how really hard it is to turn around a franchise. You know how hard it is to take bad habits and turn them around. So I really want to start off by saying I appreciate the job that Tom Thibodeau did with the team and pushing us towards what we ended up doing throughout the whole year. We never gave up. We ended up playing hard every year, and that's what we all wanted as an NBA, as a Knicks fan. Is it don't matter if we had won or we had lost the game, but as long as it looked like we was playing basketball, and as long as we played hard, you know what I'm saying? And we did that. We played hard last year. We played with a purpose last year, and I think all that is Tom Thibodeau. He had a lot of different pieces. He's brand new to the squad. There was a lot of new faces on the team from the year before, and he just found a way to put it all together and make it work. You know, was it perfection? Tell me who's perfect. You know what I'm saying? There isn't perfection anywhere you look at it. You can only strive to be the best that you can be at whatever you do, man. And the way he handled, I'm thoroughly impressed with the way he handled players like Obi Toppin, players like Kevin Knox. Us as Knicks fans don't all we sometimes we talk about all we see on the surface. You know what I mean? We can say Obi Toppin, for an example, scored only 4 points. He had only this amount of rebounds. He played this. He only played this amount of minutes. He was an 8th-round pick, right? Etc. 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 But to me, Eddie C, I see somebody who the coach took and said to him, "Look, I'm going to teach you how to play basketball." You know what I'm saying? I like that, it's all fine and dandy that you can dunk, that you a fast kid, that you an athletic kid, that you have some offensive skill, but I'm going to break you down and I'm going to turn you into a complete basketball player. And if on the front side it doesn't look like you playing ball, I know that what I'm teaching you on the back end is going to be the base for what your career is going to be. So when I see him, and I'm going to use Kevin Knox next as an example, and to be honest with you, I don't care if nobody sees it the way I sees it. You know what I'm saying? I've been watching basketball for a long time, man, and I have differences of opinion with a lot of people, and that's why the moniker, the basketball zombie, is out, because I'm not going to agree with what everybody says and what everybody thinks, because I have my own way of formalizing things and analyzing things and going about my business when it comes to this basketball world that we in. You know what I'm saying? When he takes that player, Obi Toppin, and he doesn't give him all the minutes and he screams at him And he's breaking bad habits of 23 years of bad habits, and you don't do that in one day. That takes time. It takes effort. It takes always being there. You know what I'm saying? So I saw at the end of the year the difference between Obi Toppin at the beginning of the year and Obi Toppin at the end. Where at the beginning of the year, defensively, he looked totally lost. He didn't know where to be. He didn't know his assignments. He didn't know positioning. He didn't know this, and it affected his offense. Because if you're thinking about, what should I do here? What should I do here? When it's your time to grab the ball and shoot, you're gonna chuck it up. Plenty of times he threw air balls, but I know that was because he was thinking about where he should be defensively. So I know where that was coming from. But then turn the clock forward to the end of the year, and it's like the kid is hustling. He's getting out to shooters. He's rebounding the basketball. The shots falling a little bit more. Now you're starting to see moves with the basketball in Obi Toppin's hands. Cuts to the rim with the ball, this and that. He's starting to get more comfortable. But that process took a whole year to get done. It didn't happen overnight, man. And I have faith that next year we're gonna see a better product on the floor when it comes to Mr. Obi Toppin. And there's a lot of things that can happen. Trades, NBA is a business. But if the kid is a New York Knick next year and he gets significant minutes, I think we're gonna see a different type of player. I'm gonna say the same things with Kevin Knox. Kevin Knox didn't play in games. The little bit of minutes that I seen Kevin Knox do, I saw him hustling. I saw him trying. You know what I'm saying? That's another player that has to be broken down because he has bad habits. But I'm gonna tell you one thing, Tony. Those guys, when we're in games and us as fans watch them, we might see something. But in the practices, I'm pretty sure that those guys are, getting put in shape, and they're getting taught how to play basketball the right way. And that's because I have all the faith in Tom Thibodeau, and from ahead of him, the office and everything is being put in place to nurture these players and get these players to where they want to be.
No, I agree. Shout out to the chat as always. I know I don't interact with you guys often, but it's only because I try to focus on my guests. But I see all you guys for real, and I appreciate you. Savvy D, he said he's not ready to give up on Obi either. And Boost Mobile, I don't know who that is, but he said he saw 2 Knicks championships. So those are our only 2 championships. If I can reach out to you, Boost, I want to have a conversation with you because I would love to hear about those 2 championships. So salute and salute to the whole chat. Like I said, I see everybody, but I just try to focus on my guests when I have them on. But as you were.
Oh yeah, man. Me too, man. Like I want to thank everybody for joining in. Taking their time to hear my story, New York Knicks story. Boost Mobile, I always see him in the chats all over the place. So he's a familiar face, and for sure, man. If you were one of the few people to see championships, man, come please share your story, man, because there's a lot of people who like to hear your story and would like to live it through your eyes. Because
that's a fact.
With me, I ain't never seen one, and I'm hoping I ain't gonna get no Chicago Cubs love and be 99 years before I see one. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, man. But getting back to the stories. This regime, man, is I'm optimistic about the regime. You know, I'm not an optimist. I'm not a pessimist. You know, I'm just level headed. I'm right in the middle.
Realist.
Um, I guess you could probably say realist. I guess so. If you wanna put a name to it. I don't like putting a name to it, but because things change all the time. You know, that's the way it is, man. Things in life and in everything. You know what I'm saying? Things change all the time, and what you say today maybe not is not true tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? So, but the regime itself, man, is I'm really optimistic about the regime. I'm optimistic about what we're gonna do. Not to say that we're gonna make a splash. Not to say that we're gonna go out and catch a big fish or anything like that, because those types of things I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I can't foresee the future. All we could do is read the tea leaves and try to go from there. You know, analyze b-ball from there. But whatever they do, whatever the New York Knicks end up doing, I know that in the long haul, probably not in the short term, but in the long haul is going to be the smart thing to do. So as long as I know that, I'm okay with whatever they do, be it how small, be it how big, or what have you.
I mean, and that's a great feeling to just have faith in the organization, have faith in the front office, have faith in the coaching staff, and not know what direction they're necessarily going, but knowing that, hey, whatever they do, I'm not worried they're gonna make the wrong move or the wrong decision. You know what I mean? Like, even if I don't understand it at the time or immediately, you know what I mean? Like, you have faith in their basketball knowledge, you know what I mean, their knowledge of what's going on around the league, and things of that nature. So I agree with you in that aspect, that, obviously none of us really know what they're gonna do, but there's faith there. That being said, do you do you think it's because I feel like it's not gonna be as easy as a lot of people think for us to pick up where we left off, if you will. Like, I don't think there's a guarantee that we're gonna be a fourth seed again. You know what I mean? Or fifth seed or a sixth seed. You know what I mean? Like, I hope so, but one thing that we got to keep in mind, that a lot of things still have to go through the motions. We have 6 players under contract as of today. So, and I don't think we're bringing everybody back, if anybody at all. That's a free agent that was on the roster last year. It may be a whole new squad. But that being said, I still have faith in the coaching staff, the front
Right.
office, so that even if they do switch the whole roster up, or 50% of it, that we could be back in that spot as well. I just know it's not going to be a cakewalk. That's one thing I am looking forward to, when the roster isn't that high as far as the turnover of players, when we know, like, hey, we got pretty much everybody locked up for the next 3 years. This is who we rocking with. This is who we going to war with for the next 3 years, next 4 years. I can't wait till we hit that point. You know what I mean? Like, I'm looking forward to that. I don't know if that'll be after this year or after the next year. I think it will be relatively soon, though. Within the next 2 years, I think we're gonna have a full roster of guys that are under contract, and we know this is who we going to war with. You know what I mean? So I'm looking forward to that. That being said, are there any guys that you personally would be targeting with our draft picks? The draft is two days away. We got 2 first round picks, the second pick in the second round, and I think 53rd or 54th pick. Any guys that you would be targeting in that range? Would you be looking to move up, move down, anything of that nature? Do you think the Knicks use all 4 picks and come in with, you know, 2 rookies that maybe are on the roster and 2 that maybe are in the G League and getting their opportunity there? What are your thoughts of the upcoming draft?
My thoughts is that there's still a lot of moving parts, man. Like, I am keeping my eyes open on this Damian Lillard situation. Not to say that I'm the hugest fan of the Lillard situation itself, but again, I have faith, and if these guys believe that that's the way to go, then I'm down for whatever these guys think we should do, right? Again, because I don't have all the logistics, I don't have all the notes, I don't have all the knows, do's and don'ts about what's going on or how we can make this all work, right? I could just form my opinion from the outside looking in, and that's not the smartest way to go, right? We just Knick fans just dreaming, right? So I really have my eyes open on this Damian Lillard situation because these assets are crucial. If we end up trading away assets and making moves at the draft, is because the Lillard situation isn't gonna pan out, right? With that being said, I think it's too quick. The turnaround is too quick. I mean, it's gonna be here Thursday, and if Portland wanted to do something, these 2 picks would be valuable to put in those packages instead of making the pick and then giving them to Portland. Give them to Portland and make them decide
who they want.
Right, because they can also package, move up, do whatever they would like to do. I mean, 48 hours is still a long time. A lot of things can happen in 48 hours. But, the Tokyo situation, that's it's just quick. It's just, I don't think it's going to happen, but they still have their eyes open for that. And I think that's part of the reason why they haven't done any moves. Like, they probably could have done some moves like the Memphis Grizzly move with the Pelicans. They probably could have done something like that. But again, they're just holding on until it's the right time. And I think that's a smart way to go about it, right? When it comes to the draft, I'm one that thinks if we're keeping the picks, right, I'm one that thinks we should move up to 14 or 15. Most likely 15, and draft whoever Golden State doesn't draft at 14 between Chris Duarte and Trey Murphy. There's also a lot of ways you can go about it. That's what I would do because I know those are the 2 players that I target. Like, those are my 2 favorite players in the draft at our draft range, right? Because obviously I love Cade Cunningham. Obviously, I love Jalen Suggs. I love Mobley. I love all those guys. But at our range, Duarte and Trey Murphy III are my. Those are the 2 guys that I'm locked into. Luckily for us, though, if we're not able to move up, the draft is super deep.
Yep.
Super deep. Where if we have to stay at where we are, we're gonna get a solid player. And he's going to be somebody that comes into the fold, and we can grow with whoever the player is going to be. So you want me to say who I'm targeting at 19 and 21 then?
Yeah. I don't think we move up unless we're moving up to 14 or better. I don't think we move up. I wouldn't move up for 15. I think Trey Murphy would still be there at 19. He is a guy that I'm targeting though. But yeah, who would you pick if we keep our picks 19, 20, 21?
Um, First, I'd like to again say thank you to everybody that tuned in, man, and showed me love and showed you love. For the time, man. Thanks for everybody in the chat. Smash that like button. It just helps with the
Appreciate it.
channel. It helps with the algorithm. Um, if you can share it with your buddies, share it on Facebook, share it on whatever platform you like, YouTube, Twitter, and get it out there, man, so people know that we having fun with this. This is a New York Knicks thing, and we having fun with this all day, every day. This is what we
Appreciate,
do.
appreciate it.
With that being said, I'm gonna give you my picks for 19 and 21. I think players like Trey Murphy will be gone. I even think Sharif Cooper won't be on the board when we get to pick. Players who I think might drop: Keon Johnson, and Jalen Johnson.
Mm-hmm.
I think those are players that you might see slip in the draft. Those are names to look out for. We might get lucky, and those players might slip to us. Might. I don't know if those are players that the people like. I'm not too fond of them. I like Keon Johnson a little bit better than Jalen Johnson, but that's just my opinion. It could be wrong or right.
What's your
But
thoughts on Trey Man?
I'm not that fond of him. I'm really not. I'm not that fond of him. I just think, you know, he's a silky smooth shooter, a 6'5" shooting guard. That people like to put him as a point guard to probably up his value, but I think he's a shooting guard. I don't think he's a point guard. And at that position, you can find a lot of players who give you a little bit more than what he does. So that being said, Sharif Cooper, he's gotten. I've taken my gas off the pedal on Sharif Cooper, but he was somebody that I really didn't like either
Mm.
because I'm a defensive dude, man. Like when I play ball, man, I don't really play that well. I'm not a real basketball player, man. All I could do is shoot, but there's one thing I will try to do is that I will try to play defense on you. So I guess when I analyze players, man, I just love defense. I love players that can play defense and have tenacity on that side of the court. And the offense, obviously that's a big plus. Um, so with the players that I'm targeting at 19, again, thinking that Sharif's off the board, thinking that Trey Mann's off the board and Duarte off the board, I'm going to go with Jaden Springer.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go with Jaden Springer, and I'm going to go with a combination of either Cam Thomas, which probably I also think he's not going to be available anymore. Probably go 17 to New Orleans. I like Cam Thomas, and who's another player that I was looking at? I'm just gonna go with those two. I'm gonna go with Jaden Springer. I'm gonna go with Cam Thomas at 19 and Jaden Springer at 21.
Okay. Not mad at either one. I actually think Cam is gonna fall, so I think he will be there. Excuse me. Yeah, I'm not mad at either one of those guys. I like Cooper too, but I don't know. I'm up in the air. Like I kind of started talking myself back into Cooper, saying, "Hey, even though the knock on him is that he can't shoot and he can't finish at the rim, but then I'm like he still averaged 20 points a game. So
Right.
he had to get those points somewhere. He and we do need a facilitator, but the size does scare me. I was a big fan of going after Chris Paul early on, probably a lot early on, because when I first mentioned it, he was still in Houston, and nobody, nobody wanted to hear me out then. A lot of people changed their tune, and then after this finals, a lot of people are back on that. No, I don't want Chris Paul. If we were going after Chris Paul, I would 100% want Cooper as in the draft, because I think that's the perfect guy to mentor him and teach him, his way around the NBA. And they already have a connection. I think he played for Chris Paul's AAU team. But me personally, I would go with both Trays, Trey Mann and Trey Murphy, Trey Murphy the third. I think that combination would be great. Thomas is growing on me. A lot of people like Grimes. I like Grimes too, but
yes,
they say he, some people think he'll fall to the second round, and any guys you targeting in the second round?
He was another player that I was going to mention, Quentin Grimes. I also like his game. Reminds me of like a little Allie Houston. And just to add to the point of, if the Knicks draft Sharif Cooper, I wouldn't be mad either. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, it's pretty much, I'll be happy if they draft him, and if they decide to go through another route, then I'll be happy with the other kid, and I just keep my tabs on him to see, maybe if we did the right choice or we didn't do the right choice. Yeah, like if he's not a Knick, I would probably still check him out to see if he should have been the pick.
At this point, you don't even gotta watch, because they're gonna tell us. They're gonna tell us who we messed up on, who we messed out on. They're gonna tell us. So, but I feel you.
And at 32, obviously I'm hoping a player like Grimes is there. I'm hoping a player like Josh Christopher is there. Somebody like Josh Primo. But in all actuality, they probably won't be there.
One of them gotta be there.
You never know, man, because we pick at 21 and there's 9 picks, 10 picks. And in those picks, Josh Christopher could be gone. Bones Highland could be gone. All these guys could be gone, man. So these kids are all talented, man. But somebody who's probably lower on the list, but I wouldn't be mad at taking at 32, is the kid from Iowa, Wieskamp. He's a 6'6" shooting guard. Played with Luka Garza. He's a wing type. He's a wing guy. The Knicks are the talk around the Knicks is they're looking for the next Kevin Huerter. So if we're talking about the next Kevin Huerter, is a 6'6", 6'7" guy who can shoot the ball and is athletic enough to play defense. And I'm gonna give you another one here. I really like the kid Franz. I can't really. He's a 6'10". He's a 6'10" forward. I really can't say his last name, but his first name is Franz. I really like that kid a lot. I think that kid is solid, but it might be a little bit too a reach for 32. But he might not be there at 58, right? So, and if one of the big men fall, if we could get our hands on a Day'Ron Sharpe in the second round, I'm all for getting a Day'Ron Sharpe, any of those big men, and Isaiah Jackson if they fall,
What's your thoughts on Bassey?
Bassey's another one.
The Queen Steph is super high on Bassey.
Yeah,
I wouldn't be mad with him either.
If we're not able to get one of those wings in the second round because they're all gone, I wouldn't mind getting some backup center help, because we're gonna need that. unless we're gonna pay for somebody, and I don't foresee us paying for a big man like that. You know, because we have what's his name, Pele back there, and you know, I think with Mitchell Robinson, Pele, and a Dayron Sharp third center, I think we'll be okay there. And just build the team, you know, around those at the other positions, you know, focus on that, and I think it'll benefit us more.
Thoughts on the point guard from Kentucky. I think he had a bad year this year. Is he from Kentucky? Boston? Yeah, that's the kid.
Shooting guard from Kentucky. I think I got PTSD from Kevin Knox. So, I mean, I wouldn't be mad.
Even in the second round?
Yeah, I wouldn't be mad if we took him in the second round because we just acquiring talent. You know what I'm saying? But if I was one of the scouts and I was watching all these players, I mean, I don't know if he would be up there. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're basically taking them on full potential. And you know, that's up to you. Those are gonna be the stars or the scars on your badge when it comes up to say who did you pick or who you didn't pick. You know, if it's Scott Perry or any other of these guys that vowed for them and they didn't pan out, right? We obviously want all our players to pan out and be successful, but those are tough guys. Those are tough decisions. And then you never know. You can still take a Bassey at 32 and package the 58 and a second rounder from another year to move up to like 40 something and take a BJ Boston. You know what I'm saying? Or any of these other players. So there's a lot of things that can happen. There's a lot of moving parts.
19 comment asked about Isaiah Jackson. I think if we want him, we're gonna have to get him at 19 or 21.
Yeah, he won't slip past Houston. You know, those guys are another team that's just acquiring talent. You know, I'm kind of peeved. I was reading some reports that Toronto and Oklahoma City are talking about trading up and Toronto moving down. Like, I don't want none of these smart teams to be picking in front of us. Like, I'm hoping that Oklahoma City does the deal with Cleveland because I'd rather see Cleveland picking at 7, 16, and 18 than Oklahoma City picking at 16 and 18 and Toronto either. Like, I don't want to see Toronto picking in front of us. So yeah, man, like these smart teams, bro. I don't want nothing to do with these smart teams. Golden State Warriors, I don't want nothing to do with you. I don't want to make no trades.
Oh man.
All you know what I'm saying? All you want to do is you know what I'm saying, do your dirty work against us, man. And nah, man, like hopefully we're smarter than that now. We're not one of those pushover organizations where you can, you know, get your pieces off on us and we'll just take it and slide. You know what I'm saying? I hope we're smarter than that and you know. What's going on, everybody in the chat?
Yes, salute.
Bro, how you doing, man? Jay Boogie in the chat.
Jay Boogie.
Salute. 3 capital S's, baby. How you doing, man?
Raphael.
Thanks for joining us tonight.
Appreciate it. Where else we gonna go? Let's jump into free agency. Free agency and I guess, I mean, you talked a little bit about Dame Lillard. Any other trade topics or free agency topics you wanna jump into?
Free agency is probably gonna be a little vanilla for me because they're gonna try. I think they might re-sign Reggie Bullock. I think they might re-sign him. You know, I think he wants to stick around. I think the organization wants him to stick around. He did great for us last year, and there's no doubts about it. He has deficiencies like a lot of players, but he's somebody who's a good friend of Julius. They play well together, so you know I think he's going to be a player that we look to bring back. Um, Derrick Rose is another player that I think we're going to look to bring back. This is always contingent on other situations that can happen from here to the draft to free agent. You know what I'm saying? There's always moving parts to everything. But somebody, I'll give you somebody who we might sign, who I said at the beginning of the year of free agency that we might take a look at. Spencer Dinwiddie. I think Spencer Dinwiddie is somebody that we might take a look at. Looks like he's going to be a little expensive, but looks like we might be able to sign him to a short-term deal where it's good for both parties. We have the money, to give these guys high short-term deals where it doesn't affect us as much, and the player could also raise its value for next year. And so Spencer Dinwiddie is somebody who I think probably we might look at signing. And in the trade market, again, I'll say Dame is the prime target for the Knicks. I think he's the prime target for the Knicks. If we're able to get a Dame trade going, a lot of our assets will be gone. A lot of our pieces will be gone. And we'll get a good player in return, and somebody that's going to keep pushing us towards that that place we want to be at, right? And I'll give you another one, a trade. Another trade. Maybe a sign and trade for Lonzo.
This is. I'm assuming this is not with the Dame trade. This is if the Dame situation doesn't transpire.
Correct. If it doesn't pan out, nothing significant, right? But since he's restricted, there is an ability to sign and trade for him. Lonzo Ball probably fits kind of like what we like to do. He can shoot a little, but he's not a shooter per se. And he's 6'6" and can defend. So, I mean, everybody knows I'm not a Lonzo fan, but if we can somehow get him on a good deal, probably pay him around 18, something like that, sign and trade for a second-round pick, couple second-round picks here and there, and start. I'm fine with that.
Are you wary? I mean, considering you're not a Lonzo guy, are you wary about his lack of penetration, or getting into the paint at all?
I'm worried of a lot of things about Lonzo Ball, but his defense kind of like overrides some of those deficiencies that he has for me as a personal pick. I think his defense is top notch. I'm pretty sure that he can penetrate, but we just have to find ways to help him, or certain plays that he can get rubs off and penetrate in different types of way on passes and stuff like that. And one thing about him, if you're open, you're gonna get the ball. So we've been lacking a floor general, somebody who could just pass the ball around.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And get people in the right spots. I think he'll do that just fine. Having players like Obi that he could play with. Mitchell Robinson is another player that he could play with, and different other pieces. Kick it out to Emmanuel Quickley's and stuff like that. I think him and Emmanuel Quickley work. Him, Emmanuel Quickley, and RJ Barrett can work. You can even probably play Emmanuel Quickley R.J. Barrett, Manuel quickly at the 1, R.J. Barrett at the 2, and I think he's tall enough and has enough defensive instincts to be a 3 in some parts of the game and defend the 3, depending on who's the, like, let's say they're playing a team that has Evan Fournier on the court. I think he can guard Evan Fournier. To put an example out there, if it's let's say it's Boston and last year they had Kemba, Evan Fournier, and Jaylen Brown. Like Emmanuel quickly can guard Kemba, Lonzo Ball can guard Fournier, and R.J. Barrett can guard Jaylen Brown, and vice versa. I think Lonzo Ball can guard Jaylen Brown, and R.J. Barrett can guard Fournier. So I think that kind of works.
You don't like Sexton, huh?
I do. I like Sexton, but the thing is, we have to be wary about these players that are put, quote unquote, available, because they're available for a reason. I go back and I hope I'm not saying something that's already been heard. I used to breed dogs. I used to breed American bullies, and when I made breedings, I used to have litters of 5 or 6, and the best 2 out of the litter I would keep, and I would make available other 3 or other 4 or other 5, whatever the case may be, for the public to buy. And the reason why I would do that is because there's something that I knew about the pup that the buyer didn't know about the pup.
Right.
It's not like the pup could be. It's not like it wasn't going to be a great dog. It wasn't like it wasn't going to be a beautiful dog. It wasn't like it wasn't going to be a great man, a great pet. You know what I'm saying? But
so what was it? That's important.
In this sense, I'm going to let you know, and then I'll equate it to basketball. Certain things like a top line are important to me. Like if the dog has a high end, like that's a fault. So somebody who doesn't know that, who just wants to have a nice looking dog, probably wouldn't care about him having a little high end, or probably wouldn't even notice something like that. But to me, because I know what it is, I would put a pup like that available. Things like temperament, you know what I'm saying? And that's where you can probably equate that to basketball, because Colin Sexton looks like he's a temperamental guy, right? So if the temperament isn't right in the pup, you're probably going to want to make that pup available, because you're looking for a certain type of temperament, and you're looking for a certain type of dog that you want to have in your program. So equate that to Colin Sexton, has had problems with the organization, who's had this and that. That could be one of the reasons why he was put available. And the last thing, the way they walk, certain injuries that they could have later in life, genetic injuries, genetic things that they could have later in life. These are all things that you would do. And when in that part, I'm going to equate that to Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. There's a lot of people that like Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. He's a great player, but he just got injured last year on a foot. He had a foot injury last year. And you have to be very careful with those foot injuries, because it can get worse. Something can happen where when D'Angelo Russell came out in college, I didn't like his gait. I didn't like the way he walked. I didn't like the way he played. It was like he was like a square, right? Like he would run and it would look like a square. And he has a lot of problems now where he can't stay healthy, hip injuries, things like that. So those are the type of things that people don't know, and people just go out and say, "Oh, Shai Gilgeous is available. Let's throw the farm at Shai Gilgeous." But I'll tell you this: if Shai Gilgeous was a perfect player, Oklahoma City would not make him available.
Yeah, but like you said earlier in the show, man, there is no perfect player. You know what I mean? I don't know. Me personally, I would make the move for Sexton. And I'm gonna let this be up to you. But Tricky Nicky, he requested the link, and I sent it to him, and he's backstage. So I'm gonna ask you, do you mind if I let him join in? I don't know if he wants to speak directly to me or directly to you. So I'm gonna bring him in real quick.
That's what we for, baby. We New York Knicks family, baby.
No doubt, no doubt. All right. Tricky, you there?
Yeah, you hear me?
Yes, sir. I'm gonna let you in briefly so you could make your comment or statement. But and then you know what I mean. Reach out to me. I'll get you on the show. We do our own episode. But you know, join in and say your piece. What's going on, bro?
Hey, I actually just got off a Nets show, a Brooklyn Nets show. I'm a Knicks fan first and foremost. I subscribed to your channel tonight, and that was because of Eddie C.
I appreciate you.
Like,
Thanks.
he was on Man earlier, and I want you to know, like, I have no idea what you're talking about, but I heard Colin Sexton. And I'm telling you, that dude is the guy I want. I want Colin Sexton. But if we can't get him, I'd rather we just build. If we're going to get someone like Dame, I mean, Dame alone ain't got to do anything. So we'd have to get two guys, right?
I agree with that.
Then we're just wasting every asset we have. And the Nets ain't going anywhere. If they're healthy next year, I mean, what if the Lakers get Beal? What if the like Giannis and the Bucks, right? They're legit. They're for real in the East now. People need to recognize that with PJ Tucker, Portis, Giannis, Middleton, Drew Holiday, that team ain't going nowhere. So like I said, I just joined and subscribed, and I want everybody else out there to do the same. If you're a Knicks fan, if you love Knicks Nation, that's what we do. We support anyone and everyone. And I just want to say, like, Colin Sexton was the first words I heard. Because I'm big on that dude. And thank you. And
no doubt, no doubt. I appreciate you jumping in. I appreciate your comment. I appreciate you subscribing. Can I get a Yo Black is Time real quick?
can you get a what?
Yo Black, it's time.
Yo, Black, it's time?
Appreciate you, bro. Yeah,
Yes.
leave a comment. I'll reach out to you. I'll get you on the show again.
Thank you, bud.
Salute.
Salute to you and Eddie C. Thank you, Eddie C. Hey, Eddie C. One quick question for you, though.
Go ahead.
Number 18 on your hat. That isn't Kyle Busch, is it?
Oh yeah, man. This is actually a NASCAR hat.
Yeah. NASCAR hat.
It's a Eminem NASCAR hat. Yeah, it's Kyle Busch on the back, number 18, brother.
I already know that. I already knew that. I'm from Michigan. You think I don't watch races? I love my Pistons. I love my Knicks first and foremost. But I'll tell you what. I want the Knicks to get back to Patrick Ewing, Xavier McDaniel, Oakley, Mason, Starks, Harper. I want those boys back. We need boys like that. And I feel like Tibbs is doing it with Randall and RJ and the guys we got now. I think Obi's going to be a baller. But I'm not trading all those guys for 2 stars just to be back where we were with Amari and Carmelo. I'm not going to do it. And I'm out.
Salute. Appreciate you jumping in.
And you know, I appreciate you subscribing to my boy. Thanks again for everybody that came in and showed support for what we do in the Knicks universe, man. Like, you know, this is fun for us. This is therapeutic for us. You know, we do this for y'all. Like, we just like having fun, chopping it up and talking Knicks, man. But I'll answer your question. I want to not answer your question. I want to just put this in mind when we talk about Colin Sexton. At the forefront of a player like Colin Sexton, he's a great point guard. He's a scoring point guard, and he plays with tenacity. What you have to account for is the assets that you would have to give up to get a Colin Sexton. And then once you have Colin Sexton in the fold, next year he's up for a contract. Now, when you make this trade for Colin Sexton, you're basically saying that Colin Sexton is going to be part of your future, and you're gonna take away any ability to get any main player available. I'm gonna throw a name out there. Whoever you like it to be, a major player, because you already have traded for Colin Sexton and you're giving Colin Sexton a major contract to be your point guard of the future. So those are just the things that you have to look at when you think about, I'm going to trade for Colin Sexton. And that's a decision that the New York Knicks have to make as an organization. Am I going to pin the weight of the New York Knicks' shoulders on Colin Sexton? Because if I make a trade for him, I'm saying to myself, he's the guy I'm going to go with. He's the guy I'm going to re-sign. And he's the guy that I'm going to build my team around with RJ, with Randall, and so on and so forth. So just think about those things. And you know,
I mean, the thing is, the reason I would do it is because of the situation it is right now. Right now, number one, you're getting them for $6 million for 1 year, right? All you really have to do is give them a qualifying offer. So you give them a qualifying offer. Now you either have them for 2 years at a very good contract, or you let them hit restricted free agency, and then you have the opportunity to match. You have the opportunity to say, I don't want to give you that much, but we'll do a sign and trade and maybe get an asset from the team that he wants to sign with. He also becomes an asset this season at that $6 million mark. If you want to flip him at the trade deadline. So because the options aren't that limited, I do it in a heartbeat. And we talk about a kid that not only scored 24 last year a game, but he's averaged 20 over the duration of his career. So that's not a small feat. I don't like the people who call it empty stats and stat padding and all of that, because if you take last year away, this past season, and we look at the year before, I didn't hear a single person saying that about the guys on our team when we didn't succeed. You know what I mean? People still were praising RJ for his production as a rookie. Not too much Randall that year, but you know what I mean? It wasn't called empty stats and things of that nature. And this guy is just I look at trajectory of players. If your trajectory is always going up, and we can get you before you reach the top of your trajectory, I'm all for that. Position of need. It's a younger guy. He won't be 23 until sometime during the next season. So things like that make me think it's a no-brainer. And you worry about the money and everything else afterwards. You know what I mean? You worry about that when the time comes. So I do it in a heartbeat. I try to keep Obi if I can, but if I gotta give him up, I probably would. But yeah, I really like that kid. I hope we make a move for him. I won't be heartbroken if we don't, but I really hope we do. I think veterans are important, but I also I want us to keep doing what we did with Randall. A lot of people weren't high on Randall when we brought him in. Prior to him even playing the game for us. but I was one of the guys that was high on him, and that's only because I looked at trajectory. I looked at what he did. You know, you take away his rookie year where he didn't get to play, but you look at every season after that, he continuously improved. He continuously showed growth. It was never regression. I mean, you can argue the first year he had regression was his first year with the Knicks. And me personally, I didn't even look at that as a regression. I looked at it as him learning a new role. He's never been the go-to guy for a franchise, and that took time. But now, if we continue to do that and pick guys that are on the upwards in their trajectory in their career, they don't have to come in and be the guy. You know what I mean? We have the guy now. He had his learning curve, and he accepted his role and learned his role. These guys could literally come in and be who they are and continue to grow. They don't got to come in thinking, I'm the savior, I'm the man. You know what I mean? Those things that Randall had to deal with, you know, that's a tough thing to do. You and even playing alongside a guy like Mook, who some would have argued was our best player, Marcus Morris, but Julius was paid to be our best player. You know what I mean? So I'm not saying they did bump heads. Maybe they didn't bump heads. Maybe they were the best of friends on the court. But when you get that role of I'm the top guy, it's hard to share it. You know what I mean? I think Julius did a good job in that. But it's hard to mentally, it's hard to figure out, all right, I'm the top guy. That means I'm supposed to take the last shot. You know, we seen Julius, he felt like if there's a game winner, that's my role. You know what I mean? But sometimes you can be the top guy and not take that shot and realize, hey, this guy shoots better than me. I'm gonna get him the open shot. And you know, all those kind of things. You know, he had to learn that. But I think again, trajectory, I'm going for the guy that's young, that is growing and getting better every year, and hoping he could continue to do that on our team. I think Sexton fits that role. And there's a few other guys that out there that I would, you know, look to do that with. We only really need two or three veterans if we get the right ones. You know what I mean?
Yeah. All I would say is this: like, let's just be wary about these players who are available that are due for a contract extension next year. Sexton, Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, and don't be surprised if you hear rumors going into next season that Michael Porter Jr. is available, because it kind of like seems to me that these players were great for their franchises while they were on their rookie deals, but now it's time to pay them, and the price point is not worth the value that you're going to get from these players moving forward. So hence why Kevin Knox is available in every trade possible, probably from the Knicks.
No, no doubt. But Eddie, I gotta go. I gotta get ready for this road trip to Atlantic City tomorrow for the draft party on Thursday. I hope some of you guys in the chat will be at the draft party. I'd love to meet you, interact with you, do some interviews, you know, chop it up, talk Knicks. If you're not gonna make it to the draft party, you could tune into any one of the NBK fan platforms. We're gonna be doing a live stream. We're gonna be broadcasting on each and every one of our channels at the same time. Maybe you guys jump around and skip from each one of us. But yeah, salute to the chat. Yo, Black is time. Eddie C, I appreciate you joining me. We're gonna do this again in the other format where we could just talk Knicks, you know. But I appreciate you doing the episode 18, Knicks and Bruises. Any last words?
Man, it's funny. That's the number I got on my hat, 18, man. I think I gotta play that number tomorrow. Then
that's what's up. It's meant to be. It was meant to be.
For sure, man. Nah, man, I appreciate you, man. Thanks for having me on and expressing myself today. Talking about my Knicks memories. Talking about how it came up, how I came about, why I'm a Knicks fan, and again, giving my takes on New York Knicks today. I appreciate everybody that came in, man, and showed love and stood with us. Chopping it up over here, talking Knicks, man, and anytime, man. I appreciate it a lot. Yo, Blackest time. Um, you know how we do it, man. Let's just get it. Throw up them
For sure.
zombies. The basketball zombie is gonna come soon, guys. I gotta get it straight. I gotta see how I'm gonna roll this out for you guys. How I'm gonna present this to you guys because I want to do it. I want to do it in a cool way, in a nice way, where everybody can interact and everybody, we have fun. It'll just be just another platform that you guys can come in and give your takes and give your opinions. Um, Thanks, peace, love. Let's do it. Throw up them
That's what's
zombies,
up.
baby.
That's right. Look out for that basketball zombie. We're gonna show him the same love he showed us. Salute, salute. Your Blackest time. We out of here. Peace.
Peace.